What's up, Steelers Nation? The grind never stops in Pittsburgh, and right now, your team is doing everything it can to build a Super Bowl-caliber roster in 2025, from strengthening the quarterback room with Aaron Rodgers to exploring high-level trade options to boost the offense. This front office is showing us one thing loud and clear. They're not settling for another first-round playoff exit. They want ring number 7. Before we jump into today's exclusive update, trust me, this one is wild. Go ahead and smash that like button if you're glad to see the Steelers finally making bold moves. And if you're new here, hit subscribe, so you don't miss any of our Steelers breakdowns, trade rumors, or breaking news. Let's get right into it. So we already know the Steelers' quarterback situation is finally solidified. They brought in Aaron Rodgers on a surprisingly affordable one-year deal, the $13.65 million to be exact. That move alone showed us that Pittsburgh is not just aiming to compete, they're going for the jugular. But that's only half the story, because now that QB1 is set, the next major focus is adding firepower to the pass-catching unit. And guys, this is where things get very interesting. Sources confirm that the Steelers made aggressive inquiries in recent weeks, yes, plural, to try and land another elite weapon to pair with DK Metcalf. First, Pittsburgh reached out to two NFC South teams about potential trades for star wideouts Chris Olave, New Orleans Saints, and Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Unfortunately, no deal. Both teams rebuffed the Steelers' offers, making it clear they weren't ready to move their top receivers, at least not yet. But here's where the story takes a turn. According to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, Pittsburgh isn't done shopping. In fact, they've now pivoted their attention to the tight end market, and one major name is absolutely on their radar: Kyle Pitts. Yep, that Kyle Pitts, the 6'6", 245-pound freak athlete who was a top 5 pick just a few years ago and has ties to someone very familiar with Pittsburgh's new system, Arthur Smith, our new offensive coordinator. Smith coached Pitts in Atlanta and knows exactly how to scheme for his rare combination of size, speed, and hands. The Steelers have made calls asking the Falcons about what it might take to get Pitts in black and gold. Also mentioned in trade chatter, former Falcons tight end Jonnu Smith, another Arthur Smith favorite. Let's be honest, Steelers Nation, this offense might finally be starting to look dangerous, and here's why this isn't just smoke, it's urgency. Let's look at the wide receiver room as it stands today. DK Metcalf is your WR1. He's a beast. No argument there. But behind him, Roman Wilson, rookie, talented but unproven. Calvin Austin III, speedy but inconsistent. Robert Woods, veteran presence, but his best years are behind him. That's it. This team cannot go into 2025 expecting Rodgers to win with just that supporting cast. Not when you're chasing a Super Bowl. Not when you've got a 41-year-old quarterback who needs reliable, elite weapons to thrive. That's why the front office is actively exploring every option. Whether it's Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, Terry McLaurin, if the Commanders start selling, or even waiting until camp cuts or the midseason trade deadline, make no mistake, someone will be added. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Not everyone is sold on the Steelers' current direction. In fact, Mike Florio, the guy behind Pro Football Talk, straight up called the Aaron Rodgers signing a move of desperation. His words, not mine. He even joked that Pittsburgh should replace Renegade with Desperado as their in-stadium anthem. Ouch. Florio thinks the Steelers panicked after missing out on other quarterbacks and only got Rodgers because he was their last resort. And hey, there's some truth in there. They passed on Kirk Cousins. They didn't draft a QB until the 6th round when they picked up Will Howard out of Ohio State. And they let both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson walk after going 10-7 last year and crashing out in the wild card. But here's the thing. If Rodgers didn't want to be in Pittsburgh, he wouldn't have signed. And he definitely wouldn't have done it for just $13.65 million. This isn't desperation. This is opportunity. Rodgers is 2 years removed from his Achilles injury. In 2024, he threw for 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions on a bad Jets team. He still has enough juice to lead a deep playoff run. But the key is weapons. That's why the Steelers are hunting for another playmaker. Not to panic, to maximize their window. Because let's face it, Rodgers isn't here for 5 years. He's here for 1, maybe 2 if we're lucky. If you want to win now, you better build the offense to do it. You need that second guy next to Metcalf. You need a mismatched nightmare like Kyle Pitts. You need to show this locker room that you're all in. Anything less is waving the white flag on 2025. We're kicking things off with a feel-good story about one of the most reliable guys on our offense. Tight end Pat Freiermuth, Muth himself, just made a major life announcement that had Steelers Nation smiling across social media. Pat took to Instagram to announce his engagement to longtime girlfriend Jillian Cataldo. That's right. Our number 88 just put a ring on it, and honestly, this couldn't come at a better time. With a slightly lighter summer schedule, Freiermuth's got some extra time to enjoy life off the field before things ramp up in camp. This kind of stability off the field often translates into even better play on the field. And let's not forget, Freiermuth bounced back in a big way last season. After an injury-plagued 2023, he put up 65 catches, 653 yards, and 7 touchdowns in 2024. That's a solid bounce back and exactly what you want to see from your franchise tight end. The Steelers clearly believe in him too. They locked him up early last season with a 4-year, $48.4 million extension, signaling that he's a cornerstone of this offense for years to come. So congrats to Pat and Jillian. Here's to many more touchdowns and happy memories. Now, let's zoom out and talk about what this offense is building, because things are changing fast in Pittsburgh. We finally got our answer at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is officially a Steeler on a 1-year, $13.65 million deal. That's way below market value for a future Hall of Famer, and it gives the team something they haven't had in a long time, a veteran QB who knows how to win big games. But now that the quarterback room is settled, attention has shifted to the wide receiver group. And folks, there's work to be done. After the Steelers traded away George Pickens due to contract tensions, they created a major void opposite new WR1 DK Metcalf. Yes, we've got guys like Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin III, and Robert Woods. But let's be honest, that group, while promising, isn't going to scare a top-tier AFC defense. This is why recent reports have fans buzzing again. Jason Mackey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette recently highlighted 2 names that are heating up behind the scenes, Allen Lazard and Keenan Allen. Let's break this down. First up, Allen Lazard. He's not a free agent. He's still under contract with the New York Jets, but his value there has plummeted since Aaron Rodgers got hurt last season. He followed Rodgers from Green Bay to New York, and let's face it, that connection is real. Rodgers trusts him, and with 1 year left on his deal, a trade wouldn't shock anyone. It's a natural fit. Same system, same QB, instant chemistry. Then there's Keenan Allen, who is currently a free agent. The man is a 5-time Pro Bowler, a route technician, and even though he's up there in age, he's proven he can still produce. For a team like Pittsburgh that's eyeing a 1-year Super Bowl window with Rodgers, Allen could be a perfect short-term WR2 option. Imagine an offense with Rodgers slinging it to Metcalf, Allen or Lazard, Freiermuth, and then sprinkling in younger weapons like Wilson. That's suddenly a balanced, dangerous group that can do real damage. Now you might be wondering, how can the Steelers afford all this? Great question. Despite recent splashes, the Steelers actually have cap flexibility, and that's mainly because Rodgers came cheap and they haven't overpaid for depth. Yes, Metcalf is the highest paid player on the team right now at $150 million over 5 years. But Rodgers' team-friendly deal combined with rookie contracts for guys like Will Howard give Pittsburgh enough wiggle room, but it's a tightrope. The Steelers are still in negotiations with other players, and they've got long-term financial obligations looming. They can't just throw money at every name available. This next move has to be smart, calculated, and fit the win-now window. So, here's the question. Steelers Nation, would you trade for Kyle Pitts if it meant giving up a day 2 pick? Do you think Rodgers and Arthur Smith can resurrect Pitts' career in Pittsburgh? Or are we better off waiting for mid-season cuts and letting Roman Wilson develop? Let us know your take in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. If you believe the Steelers are going all in this year, like this video to show your support for the black and gold. And hey, if you think adding Kyle Pitts puts us over the top, drop a emoji in the comments. As always, don't forget to subscribe. For more exclusive Steelers content, behind-the-scenes updates, and everything you need to stay ready for this massive 2025 season. Until next time, here we go.